All right, so I want to explain the content strategy framework that I'm using, right? Optimizing for SEO according to people's intent on like search engines, right? So you might be familiar with the idea of pillar pages and content clusters, which HubSpot has used very well in the past. I'm representing content clusters with this triangle and pillar pages with the circle icon, right? So the idea is that a pillar page is like an ultimate guide to something that gives you all the information you need to know about something. And then it links to content clusters that now have specific, topics under the general guide, the general ultimate guide or the complete guide or the comprehensive guide. So if you look at something like lead routing and management, right? This is a pillar page that can link to this content cluster about lead routing, right? Same with lead nurturing, right? There's also an article on lead nurture. I'm not sure there's something on lead nurture. Okay, there is something on lead scoring and qualification, right? And this is a content cluster that should also link to the pillar page on um, lead nurturing, right? Automated lead nurturing, right? I mean, also can also link to form tracking, but the idea is generally to have a ultimate guide to something where you cannot develop individual topics from under it. And the ultimate guide is supposed to cover the use cases of the product. For example, for DistroBed, DistroBed is useful for outbound sales support, for sales management, for inbound call management, for prospecting and lead generation, for sales engagement, etc. So this complete guide to sales engagement is going to have a lot of clusters, a lot of topic clusters, right, that would now populate this area of our content strategy, right? So this stuff is moving from the top of the funnel down to the bottom of the funnel. I mean, middle and the bottom of the funnel. In this category, you can see where we have this square boxes, a lot of square boxes that are placed together. And if you notice, you have like 13 best B2B sales prospecting tools and software. So in this area, we're talking about use cases for a category, right? For example, B2B sales engagement tools is a category of software products. B2B sales engagement tools, B2B sales prospecting tools, email checker tools, sales dialers, CRM, B2B data providers. These are different categories of products where DistroBed can also be placed within, right? So if you're writing these kind of articles, we're going to be having DistroBed as, number one option where we are listing 13 best B2B sales prospecting tools and software in 2024. And the date is important because it shows how current the article is and how relevant it is to somebody's search, right? And then moving from just category to now talking about specific. So if you have listed um, some tools like, for example, dialers, sales dialers, 11 sales dialers to increase your calling efficiency 2024. This Showbed has a product for voice calls. So maybe under the sales dialers that we listed here, we now take one of them, Cloud Talk, which is also a competitor to DistroBoys for that particular solution, right? So we're looking at, okay, number 5 Cloud Talk alternatives in 2024, right? So if we will list out 5 alternatives to Cloud Talk, we put DistroBed in number one, and then we write about it. We finish that blog post. We do the same thing for all the known competitors of DistroBed under the calling category. Then from there we move to sequences, which DistroBed also does. We look at all the known alternatives to DistroBed under sequences, and we talk about them in detail. Like you see now, we have this stack, this square stack to show you how we are coming down from just general categories to more specifics, right? And from there, we will now move to individual, shared inbox is also another category where, front is one of those shared inbox or cloud support, customer support solutions, right? And we're talking about alternatives to that. We'll put distribute as number one, right? And then we have, one-on-one comparison, distribute versus Apollo, distribute versus Zendesk, distribute versus Salesforce, distribute versus, that's now coming to, okay, you have come down from looking for the ultimate guide to sales prospecting or to lead generation, and you have moved to, okay, in sales prospecting tools and software, what are the options available? Then you have come down to, okay, I found some sales prospecting tools, right? What are the top five of those tools that I should be looking at? Then you already looked at top five. You're now narrowing it down to, okay, top two products, distrobed versus Apollo. Which one should I go for my money? And this will now help you to make a decision. So you see how it makes sense to just break it down from the very general search terms that people are looking for to more specific, high intent search terms that give you a chance to actually convince people to buy your own, solution